Alright, hello and welcome to this video. We had to cancel the webinar just due to me being sick, and it would involve downloading software on your guys' end, which just kind of complicates things. But feel free to send me any questions, comments, concerns, etc., email or text. So today we're just going to be kind of doing an overview of the Cyber Patriot program, just for those who are interested, and kind of running down some of the scheduling things that are going to be taking place. So very much like a sports event, there's some practice rounds, etc. And then there's the actual tournament. We have the qualifying rounds. These two qualifying rounds, everyone will participate in, and then it'll be basically qualifying round 1 will put you in silver, gold, or platinum tier, and then you'll diversify into state, semifinals, national, etc. And that's how the competition works. Very much like sports or anything else, kind of a pyramid on to the national competition. So what does the competition actually involve? Well, basically, the competition will involve virtual machines and a Cisco networking quiz. First thing is virtual machines. Most of you are probably familiar with Windows and Mac OS, and maybe have even heard of Linux or used it, but generally Windows and Mac OS are the two predominant operating systems. So basically what an operating system is you boot up your computer, you press the power button, it boots up, and you log in, and you have this desktop, and you have files and all that. That's an operating system. So effectively, what a virtual machine does is it lets you open an operating system, like the operating system you're currently using, in a program on top of another operating system. So you can be running Windows and then open a Linux virtual machine with some of your system resources, and you have a Linux computer sitting there that is virtualized. You know, virtual reality, it's a virtualized computer. So what the competition will, on the virtual machine side, will consist of is Windows and Linux virtual machines. No OS X virtual machines, just because Mac is proprietary. They don't release their software, and therefore you can't do virtual machines of it in a good way. So we're going to be dealing with Windows, different Windows, usually Windows 7, Windows 8. I don't know if they're going to have Windows 10. They might. With Linux, we're generally using Ubuntu, which is a flavor of Linux, very much like Windows 7 or Windows 8. It's a different flavor of Linux. So we're going to have Windows Server, which is made for servers, and the desktop Windows, which most of you are probably familiar with. And the same thing for Linux. We'll have desktop Linux and server Linux. And basically what this will consist of is you will have a checklist of what the user of that computer wants to have happen with their computer. Usually it's a little fun little story. Oh, we're a startup business, you know, and we need these permissions on and these permissions off, and we want to make sure our computer is secure as possible. And so basically what you'll do is you'll open up the virtual machine, you'll look through the checklist, you'll solve the issues on the checklist, try to secure the system, get rid of any malware or anything like that that you may have. And the really cool thing is it's scored in real time. So it has a little page that you can open on the web browser, which will pop up, and it'll show you your score and why you got that score. And so it's always fun to change something and then look and see if you got a score for it or not. So that's for both Linux and Windows. The second part of the competition is the Networking Academy. Many of you have probably heard of Cisco, or if you haven't heard of it, you've quite definitely interacted with it. Cisco is a big networking company. They make routers, which is basically a little box that emits internet in your house. They do a whole bunch of different stuff with networking. And so basically on the Cisco side of Cyber Patriot, what we're going to be doing is they're going to give us access to the Cisco Networking Academy, which will allow us to basically study about networking. And we can even get certificates and other things that can get us jobs in the future, which is really cool. But we're going to be looking at Cisco networking, and then they'll have a Cyber Patriot quiz that we'll take for Cisco networking, which will ask us a whole bunch of questions about different routers and different ways of doing things when setting up a network, and we'll take that and we'll get a score, and that will contribute to our total score, which will let us advance to further competitions. Obviously, this is really to learn. The whole point of this competition is to get people interested in security and to get people to learn security, because we really have a shortage of security professionals in the government and in the military and just generally in the world. So the goal is to learn here. Obviously, we would love to go to nationals, we'd love to go to state, and we're going to try very hard to do that. But the main focus of our team is to learn about this. Obviously, this is a fledgling team. Most of the people on the team will probably never have done this before, probably have definitely never done Cyber Patriot before, but I'm confident that all of you guys can learn if you want to. We're going to have an open house sometime soon, which will allow us to kind of gauge interest. You can see if you want to do it or not. And then once we figure out who's really interested and who wants to be on the team, then we'll start sending out ways that you can train. We'll get you hooked up with the Cisco Networking Academy and other things, and we'll start sending out assignments based upon what you're interested in doing in the competition, and we'll get ready for the competition and all that good stuff. So please send me any questions that you have, text or email, and I'll reply to them as quickly as possible. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy your evening.